Hello everybody, this is Penny Meowie and today I want to talk about Grime, a Metroidvania action-adventure RPG releasing on August the 2nd. And yes, this is definitely a Soulslike game. I think Grime will become a huge hit with time, because it really feels like a good mix between Dark Souls and Hollow Knight, but with its own unique setting and with a lot of peculiar characteristics. In this video we are gonna go in depth, analyzing a little bit of how everything works in Grime. And speaking of its unique setting, what is going on in the initial cutscene? It's basically a creation myth. We can see stone people loving each other and they create a black hole person. This is our protagonist. We are gonna play the game as a black hole guy, and as we will see later in the video, this black hole is way more important than you would think, because it's also how we parry our enemies, and parries are very important in the gameplay. Sound design is also incredibly good, and all of the soundtrack is made by Axel Roy, which many of you might know because he remixed all of Dark Souls' soundtrack and he's very good at that. He even recently collaborated with Yuka Kitamura, which is the composer of most of the soundtrack of Bloodborne and of some of the soundtrack of Dark Souls 3 as well. Control-wise, it is recommended to play with a controller. It's possible to play with keyboard and mouse. I tried both ways. I have to admit, when I was playing with keyboard and mouse, game felt a bit clunky. Developers themselves do recommend playing with a controller, so your choice. Both of them are doable, but controller is definitely recommended. You can move, you can freely move back and forth, you can dodge, and for all my Souls people, yes, dodges do have iframes, so you can avoid attacks from your enemies if you dodge at the right moment. You can also jump, you can climb, you can look up and down to see in advance what do you have to fight. And of course, being a Metroidvania, exploration is very important. You are gonna find many hidden passages, and it's very important that you do explore very well. Many important items are hidden behind a fake wall. Backtracking is also quite important. You will find different powers that will make you remember about something that you found earlier in the game but you couldn't reach. It's full of things that you think you can't reach, but you can't reach it yet. And this is the parry mechanic I was talking about. It's very important because it doesn't only block the incoming attack, but it also helps filling that bar that you can see up there, and that's your heal. So if you want to replenish your possibility to heal, you do have to learn how to parry. And learning how to parry will be fundamental, because there are some places where if you don't parry, you just can't progress, as you can see here with this giant hand. You will find these crystal structures, and these are functionally the same thing as a bench in Hollow Knight or a bonfire in Dark Souls, a reset point, but it's also the place where you want to go if you want to level up. Stat-wise, this is very just a typical RPG game. You can improve your health, you can improve your stamina. Force is stamina in Grime, and then you can improve your strength or dexterity or resonance, depending on which weapon you prefer to use. This screen is very well made in my opinion. It's very easy to understand where everything is going, and in general I do really like how the inventory screen is made. It's very clean, it's very clear and understandable. It also comes with a page where you can know more about the people that you kill, and of course the more of them you kill and the more information you are gonna get about them. Game comes with a map, but you first have to find another kind of crystal formation in order to unlock the information about the area that you are exploring. So keep your eyes very open, because it's not that easy to find these crystals. They tend to be quite hidden behind fake walls, or in general they are not that easy to find. And just like in Hollow Knight, as soon as you unlock your map, you can clearly understand which path you already explore, where can you go if you want to find something new, and it's also pretty clear when you encounter a path that you can't explore yet, but you will be able to check after you unlock a specific power. And after unlocking the map, it gets much easier to actually find a shortcut to go back to the crystal and level up again. Shortcuts become very important once you found the boss of the area. If you found the boss but you don't have a shortcut that makes it easy to reach it, just explore better, because in my experience there was always a shortcut making it very easy to get from the crystal to the boss fight. And this might sound familiar to many of you, but you will find walls that you can break from the side you reach them first, so you have to explore and find a way to open the door from the other side. And of course you're gonna find multiple weapons, so you can adapt your playstyle on what do you prefer to play with, and devs call them living weapons. They mutate form and function. They kinda reminded me of Bloodborne weapons because they have something that really looks like a transformation attack. You can check in your inventory what's the weapon power and what's the weapon speed, and also you can notice which stats you have to level up if you want to make the weapon perform better. There is a chain of 3 different light attacks, and you also have a stronger but slower attack. And there's many weapons. I did find a lot of them, and they all feel very different one from the other. The game even has a broken straight sword, and as you can see, it's not particularly strong, just like the broken straight sword of Dark Souls. It says it's broken and useless, may only appear intimidating when held by a powerful person. Weapons can be upgraded by a blacksmith, but I don't really want to talk too much about this. I don't want to spoil too much. Just know that you will find upgrade materials and you have to keep them. Build making also comes with the traits. This is kind of like a skill tree, a typical skill tree of an RPG game. You can decide between many of these powers. They get unlocked when you kill multiple enemies of the same kind. Read very well and decide what suits the best your playstyle. One of my favorite things about this game is the setting and the NPCs that you find around. This is clearly a world in despair, and it's full of these rock people. They seem to be all desperate. Like, it's not easy to understand what is going on. You do have to read item descriptions, kinda in a Soulslike way. Many of them clearly don't feel very well about the current situation. Some of them seem to preach you, some of them seem to be quite afraid of you. But all of them seem to be completely desperate. Jon is the NPC that you are gonna meet more than once. He seems to follow you around. In theory, he looked like a helper, but he gave me a weird sensation, I have to admit. He calls all of the other rock people ugly, and he seemed to worship you as a beautiful person. It's almost like Jon doesn't think he's like the others. It's almost like he thinks he's way more similar to you, the black hole protagonist, than to the other boulder people. And here's the first boss fight. Of course I won't show you any other boss. This is the first one you are supposed to find, and of course I killed him first try. Maybe. Dodging and parrying are both very important. You can kill pretty much everything without parries, but if you learn the timing, it makes everything much easier. Those attacks where you see the red glow, it means that they are not parryable, so you have to find a way to dodge them. And of course, second phase. So far it doesn't look too hard as a boss fight, but again, it's the first one. It is supposed to teach you all of the mechanics, it's supposed to make sure that you did understand everything about the combat of the game before you progress. And as you can see, you probably notice it even in the rest of the video, but it's full of eyes everywhere. Body horror seems to be predominant in the game as a theme. There are places full of eyes, places full of hands, places full of teeth. In general, it seems body horror is the main theme other than rocks and boulders. And as you can see, I absolutely didn't die. This is all first try. Everything you see is pro gaming. Yeah. See, first try again. This is all part of the first try. I absolutely didn't die. No, hell no. And GG, first try. After killing the first boss, you can progress in the next area of the game, which is way more colorful, but I don't want to show you too much about that. And for whatever reason, it looks like a forking from Dark Souls 1, but maybe it's me. Maybe I just played too much Dark Souls. This game looks so beautiful. It's a weird 2.5D game and I found it very unique. We'll see in the future if I am right and this game will become the next Hollow Knight, but it definitely deserves it. I do recommend all of Metroidvania fans and all of Souls-like games fans to play Grime. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, if you did enjoy my analysis, please leave me a like, subscribe to the channel, comment, tell your mom, all of these things, and see you for the next video. Thank you so much for watching.